Peripheral vision, George S. Day, Paul J. H. Shoemaker, detecting the weak signals that will make or break your company. 7 steps to bridging the vigilance gap. Introduction. Even as you focus on running your business, you face a barrage of weak signals from the periphery. Your sales manager in the Asia Pacific region might pass along a disturbing rumor about a new competitor, or you read in the paper that a few pioneers have implanted radio frequency identification RFID tags under their skin to broadcast their ID and medical data in case of emergency. Perhaps you learned that the weblog blog of an aggrieved customer is attracting attention. What could these signals mean for your business? Which of the many weak signals around you deserve closer attention? Which ones can you safely ignore? With this growing complexity and increasing speed of change, a capacity for peripheral vision is crucial to success and even survival. Yet the periphery, by its nature, lacks clarity. It is uncertain and capricious. The key is to quickly spot those signals that are relevant and explore them further. Filter out the noise and pursue opportunities ahead of the competition, or recognize that early signs of trouble before they escalate into major problems. Is your organization up to this task? Most organizations lack the requisite peripheral vision. More than 80% of the global senior executives who took the strategic eye exam developed for this project felt that their capacity for peripheral vision would not meet their need. This shortfall manifests itself in a vigilance gap. How vigilant is your organization? That is, how many times have you been surprised by high-impact events in the past 5 years? A survey of 140 corporate strategists found that fully 2/3 admitted that their organizations had been surprised by as many as 3 high-impact competitive events in the past 5 years. Moreover, 97% of respondents said their companies lacked any early warnings system to prevent such surprises in the future. While the eyes of individuals have a highly developed system for peripheral vision, most organizations are designed to be narrowly focused on the task at hand. This strong focus of attention may benefit short-term performance, but may work against the organization's long-term survival, particularly when the environment changes. The weak signals that should be noticed may be obscured by irrelevant and distracting noise. If one person at the edge of an organization senses the significance of an early warning signal, will the rest of the organization receive or understand it? Take any of your past surprises. Probably someone in your organization or extended network knew about it, but you didn't know that they knew, and they didn't know that you needed to know. Good peripheral vision is much more than sensing. It is also knowing where to look more carefully, knowing how to interpret the weak signals, and knowing how to act when the signals are still ambiguous. In a highly connected world, faint steerings can have large repercussions. From pharmaceutical executives who have been surprised by the growing unpopularity of their industry to manufacturers distributed by low-cost rivals from China and India to the many internet service providers who failed to see the potential of online search engines until Google outflanked them. What may first appear as a small concern at the periphery can quickly become a central concern. These cases are all too common. They can lead to tragic consequences, such as the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States, or to more positive, totally new insights, such as Fleming's discovery of penicillin. I don't know how to pronounce it. Our approach to developing peripheral vision. This book began with the challenge: how many managers and their organizations build a superior capacity to recognize and act on weak signals from the periphery before it is too late. We initially sought answers as part of our research on emerging technologies at the Wharton School's Mack Center, MACK, for Technological Innovation. In May 2003, we brought together a distinguished group of thought leaders for a conference on peripheral vision. This conference and the subsequent special issue of long-range planning sharpened our thinking on this topic and raised important new questions. In these explorations, we found that the metaphor of peripheral vision was a powerful lens for understanding the complex and often confusing fuzzy zone at the edge of an organization. What it means, peripheral vision, it's out there, it's the gray areas, it's out there it's your blank spot, or your blind spot. So what is not right in front of your vision, but in a metaphor, or in in a metaphor kind of way. Using the vision metaphor, this book draws on our own research into best practice, as well as there's too much fuck here, and it manifests in the bus. It says, and it's like the horse wagons in the past. This book, for fun, man, draws on our own research. It's like they wanted to be a swinger club, to have a boss right into best practice as well as next practice. It's not like a swinger club. What I mean, it's not. I don't feel that it's like, maybe it's because it's up and down and fuck. It's very annoying. I get very angry when I try to read this, and it's like a horse wagon from so long ago. Yesterday or the other day, it was not there. I woke up with, like, I don't know. It's too long an explanation. Using the vision metaphor, this book draws on our own research into best practice as well as next practice in peripheral vision. We look at specific cases of success and failure in seeing changes at the periphery. It's incredible. It's 2025. It's much worse being in a bus than it was. It's ever been. It's never been like this in my life, except now. We look at specific cases of success, and failure. I don't know if they do it on purpose, riding the bus in the ditch. So I have all the little stones, have the bus jumping up and down. a where did I draws on our own research into best practice as well as next practice in peripheral vision. We look at specific cases of success and failure in seeing changes at the periphery. It sounds like it's periphery vision, it sounds right, but periphery it sounds like a fairy tale or something like that. Yes. But I think I know it's the same meaning of the word, the same understanding. It's just leaving out vision. From how tasty baking clarified the confusing signals about low-carb foods to how bread stalls recognized changing attitudes in young girls to topple Barbie from her throne to how funeral directors responded to a demand for more personalized services, to the challenges facing the lighting industry from the rise of light emitting diode LED light emitting. We draw on insights from the fields of strategy, marketing, organizational theory, innovation, and emerging technology management, behavioral decision theory, and cognitive science, along with applied areas such as technology scanning, competitive intelligence, and marketing research. Finally, we include our diagnostic exam so you can assess your own organization's need for peripheral vision as well as its current capability. See Appendix A. To help improve peripheral vision, we especially examine underlying organizational processes and capabilities. Our research draws on general models of information processing and organizational learning, see Appendix B, but with a specific focus on the blurry and uncertain signals from the periphery. This led us to a 7-step process for understanding and enhancing peripheral vision as summarized in Figure 1.1. The first 5 steps focus on directly improving the process of receiving, interpreting, and acting on weak signals from the periphery. The first step, scoping, concerns how widely to look and what issues to address. Chapter 2, to see everything is to see nothing. Managers can use a set of guiding questions to ensure that their focus is neither too broad nor too narrow and avoid being overwhelmed or missing important parts of the picture. After the initial scope is determined, the next step is how to scan within the selected areas. That's Chapter 3. Should the scanning focus more on the exploitation of a reasonably familiar domain or on the exploration of the unknown, an exploitation of a reasonably familiar domain, or on the exploration of the unknown, to peer into new areas of the periphery. Managers must employ different scanning strategies. Chapter 3 offers tools and approaches for detecting signals in different parts of the periphery, including inside the firm, customers and competitors, inside the firm, emerging technologies and influencers and shapers. How should managers scan within the agreed scope? Once the organization is scanning within a promising area, the next step is to make sense of what is found. Chapter 4. Much of the information is ambiguous and incomplete, of course, because they want to keep it secret what they are doing. Um, I assume was one of the reasons. In human vision, signals at the periphery lack color or definition. How does the organization connect the dots to draw together and interpret the glimpses that it has gathered from the periphery? As 7 steps to bridge the vigilance gap is a figure I1. Step 1, scoping where to look, scanning how to look, interpreting what the data mean, probing what to explore more closely, acting what to do with these insights. And step 6, organizing how to develop vigilance. Step 7, leading an agenda for action. Yeah, it's like a Danish business course that you keep your competitors under surveillance, not in their houses because it's not legal, but on the internet or anywhere where you can gather information on what's going on with the competitors. And then you can divide into, I think, different types of competitors. What cognitive and organizational biases may get in the way. Among other strategies, the interpretation of weak signals can be strengthened through diverse viewpoints, similar to the process of triangulation, to add depth and perspective. Based on this preliminary interpretation, the next step is to probe further, to learn more about the periphery and develop a better view. Chapter 5. This requires formulating good hypotheses and knowing their hypothesis is what is your understanding. What do you make a statement about what you think the truth about the situation is, and knowing how to test them to confirm as well as disconfirm them. Next, the organization must decide whether and how to act on the signals from the periphery. Chapter 6. Sometimes the nature of the threat or opportunity requires decisive action, even in the face of high uncertainty. But often the ambiguous signals from the periphery require a more cautious and measured response using a real options perspective. While step 1 through 5 focus on improving the process of peripheral vision, the last 2 steps focus on building broader organizational capabilities and leadership to support peripheral vision. And how to look, where to look, what the data mean, how to interpret it, because it's you will see it in a specific type of 2D, but it's actually in 6D or something like that.